woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. You lost your edge, she lost attraction for you. That's how it works. What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated? Men cannot afford to get complacent in relationships. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
And now your man,
Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe. Let's try that again. Hold on, we're going to try that again. I get a do-over. Hang on, I'm getting a do-over. Hold up. I'm getting a do-over. Hang on. And
a woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. You lost your edge, she lost attraction for you. That's how it works. What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated? Men cannot afford to get complacent in relationships. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
and now your man,
Donovan Sharpe.
what's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome again to the 704th edition of TSR Live, the number one relationship podcast in the world. I'm actually going to take a page out of the Fresh and Fit playbook to try to jumpstart the channel. Mr. Method, dude, you can't, let's try not to spam the channel, brah. I'm going to go ahead and hide you. Jesus Christ. Once or twice will do. It is Tuesday, June 22nd of 2021. It is good to have you in this evening. We are streaming live to Facebook, mgtow.tv. I can't say the whole word. Twitch. 2 different YouTube channels, one of which is a backup channel. You can watch it over there. And, of course, in crystal clear, you know what? Hang on, I'll unhide him. All right, Mr. Method. You're good. Just don't spam the chat again. In crystal clear, high-resolution 4K 2 Sharpe stream. So however you're watching, wherever you're watching from, thank you for making the Sharpe Reality Live a part of your daily routine. Yes, I've left the chat open. And usually, it's interesting. I usually regret leaving the main chat open about 10 minutes in. And it took less time than that. It is what it is. Guys, be sure to get your hands on my free ebook, The 49 Laws of Sharpe. This is the perfect guide for anyone who is new to this community. It answers a lot of questions that men have initially when finding content like this, which I believe sets you in the right direction. It sets you in the right direction. Sets the tone. A lot of guys have a lot of questions when they first sort of discover content like this. And really what ends up happening is a lot of confusion. Well, getting your hands on this book, this will clear up just about all of the initial confusion any man may have when they first discover this kind of content. So go to donovansharpe.com/newsletter to get your hands on your free copy today. And you had better hurry. Because this book is only going to be free for a few more days. It's been free for about 6 months. It's only going to be free for a few more days. So be sure to go over there, and get your hands on a copy of yours. Let me quickly shout out my Sharpe stream guys. Dre Raven, JB84, Apollo, RPAP, Sirius, Alex K, Andre, Hellfong, Mike, JB, Mark Johnson, Zerold, and Nick, I guess, who is signing on under a guest. Yeah, Jaden Dash gets the point. He says, y'all heard that, so let's try to be on our best behavior. Do not. Don't make me regret this. Don't make me regret this. Don't make me regret this. This evening, I'm going to discuss a video that I recently came across by a huge content creator by the name of Shan Bodhi. And yes, Chan Hyun, this is a video breakdown. I actually broke down a video she did years and years ago when she was having a discussion about the dating market with 3 other women. If you guys want to check that out, go to sharpestream.com. I forget which episode that is. I'm sure Devin will look that up. I should have had that information ready before he got started. Sue me. I'm rusty. Anyway. When I watched this video, it became very clear to me why so many women are being led astray, at least as far as sex and relationships are concerned. And I want to preface this by very clearly stating that I have absolutely no issue with Shan Bodhi. None at all. None at all. From what I understand, people who are close to her, she's a very hard worker. She's extremely transparent. And she is self-aware enough to admit that she's been wrong about things that she's done or said in the past, as well as maybe being open about things that she's changed her stance on. So her and I actually have these things in common. And anyone who has these characteristics has my respect, man or woman. That said, I am diametrically opposed with her views on sex and relationships. And what makes it so difficult is that she is extremely well-spoken. Her talking points and her ideas are very, very well organized. She expresses them extremely articulately. She has a strong command of the English language. And most of the time, she does not appear to react emotionally to things that she disagrees with. If I'm being honest, she happens to be one of the most reasonable and level-headed female influencers I've ever really come across. And so when I watched this video that I'm about to play, I instantly understood why she has such a huge following. Obviously, if you look her up, she's extremely attractive. She's one of the most beautiful women I think any of us has ever seen. She actually kind of looks like a poor man's Shari on Temptation Island. We all know Shari is the baddest of the bad. She's a 10. Shan here, at the ripe old age of 36, actually looks very, very good. She looks good, period. That's just not for 36. She looks good. Right? So she's extremely attractive and she's very well spoken, which are 2 very important elements required to become as successful as she has as a female content creator. Now, before I get into this video, I will give you the Cliff Notes. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of who she is. And I'm probably going to leave out, I'll probably leave a few things out, but in the essence of brevity, I will give you the most important highlight. So the long and the short of it is Shan Bodhi is a self-proclaimed sex expert or sexologist. She is very, very sex positive. She's very open about her sex life, both in the past and in the present. She's written a couple of books. One is called The Game of Desire. The other one is called Laid. She's very, very proactive and open, or provocative rather, and open about her sex life. She did a video a few years back entitled How I Got Chlamydia. She's done videos on erectile dysfunction, female O's, anything and everything that has to do with bedroom fun she has covered. And this is for both men and women. Now, she recently became a mother. And from what I understand, she is also married, which is something she said she would never do in the past. Right? Now, that's neither here nor there. But the point is that she is as sex positive as they come. and her lifestyle and YouTube channel reflects her views very accurately. So that's the long and the short of who she is. Again, guys, I'm sure that I have left out maybe a few minor details, but a quick scroll through her channel, which we'll do here a little bit later, will give you an accurate depiction on who and what she is and what she endorses. So now that all that's out of the way, let's discuss the video that I recently saw. The video is entitled, "Do You Want Dating Advice from Candace Owens?" Now, most people here know. This is hilarious. You guys know who's calling me, right? Hang on a second. I got to mute myself. You know, it's interesting. Kevin Samuels he's done this. Listen, Kevin Samuels always calls me when I'm on the air. He did this when he was at 987 subscribers. He did this when he was at 98,787 subscribers. And he is now doing this at 987,000 subscribers. It's freaking hilarious. It's hilarious. Every time I'm like, yo, I'm on the air, he's like, I'll talk to you later. Anyway. Now, most people know and understand that Candace Owens is a socially conservative pundit. She discusses politics, sex and relationships, how feminism has destroyed modern women, etc., etc. Now, most people know, well, I'll tell you this. Obviously, you know, Ms. Bodie here is both socially and sexually liberal, which would cause a predictable, I guess we'll call them differences in opinions between the two. Now, Shan says that she watched a video that Candace Owens did with the Roommates podcast, whom Shan Bodie happens to be very good friends with. She said she watched it with an open mind, but it is apparent that she didn't. So let's go ahead and break this bad boy down. Hopefully this isn't too loud for my headphones. Here we go.
And so one day...
Wait a minute. There we are. All right.
Hey there, lovers and friends. So one day at 2 in the morning, I was up breast pumping and I was scrolling on YouTube looking for something to watch while my boobs emptied out.
Oh,
and
awesome.
In that time, I saw a video by my friends, the Roommates, featuring Candace Owens, and this video was going up. First and foremost, I was happy for my friends because they're incredible content creators and have been at it for a long time. And I was like, oh, let me go watch this. Now, the caveat is I'm not somebody who would usually click on Candace Owens.
You don't say.
Content. It's just not in my wheelhouse of joy. I appreciate the work that she has and the space that she occupies and understand that many people find a lot of what she says great thought starters or true to them.
Okay, let me just go. Wait, hold on.
Don't personally find it all that palatable.
Okay, so the statement that she just made, true to them, okay, she uses this both ways, right? The statement she just made, true to them, right? She says this about Candace Owens. She says a lot of things that are true to them while also sort of disagreeing with what she believes is true to them, which is fine. Listen, man, Shannon can disagree with whatever she wants to disagree with. However, this is a way that a lot of people justify their bad decisions and their dishonesty or their lifestyle, like those who endorse Ms. Bodie's lifestyle. They'll say, this is my truth, right? This is my truth. It seems to be the universal battle cry for people who are not interested in defending their position without being 100% raw and honest. So, for example, a girl who sleeps around, right? She'll say, I'm living my truth, rather than just saying, hey, you know what? I love sex. I love sleeping around. I like sexual acts, etc., like Shan Bodie does. Now, the reason most women never just come right out and say this is because they know how it makes them look. Makes them look like a garden tool, right? So by saying, that's my truth, right? They're temporarily circumventing the criticism that comes with their lifestyle. And again, listen, hey, if a girl wants to sleep around, cool. Hey, listen, do you, baby girl. But choices have consequences, not the least of which is judgment and criticism. People who decide to be conservative sexually, they receive all sorts of judgment and criticism from other people. This is just the way it goes. But you never hear stay-at-home moms talk about, well, this is my truth. No, you only hear women who are sexually intemperate, sexually indiscriminate. Well, you don't know me. This is my truth. This is what they say. Either way, modern women, they want the benefit of being passed around without the judgmental gaze of her family, her friends, society. And yes, just to go off on a tangent here that has to do with this, yes, people, society judges people. It judges me. It judges you. It judges women. And guess what, guys? Judgment is a good thing. It is a system that keeps people accountable. As men, we are judged mainly on what we accomplish, right? Women are mainly judged on the way they look and their sexual past and present. And listen, don't shoot me. I don't make the rules, okay? And ladies, you might not like this. You might not think it's fair, but that's the way it is. Today's women they'll squawk and they'll moan and they'll groan about how unfair it is that they're judged on their physical appearance and their sexual purity. But women inherently understand that, yes, it does matter. It's the reason why they go to the gym and watch their diets and try to stay in shape, and also the reason why they divide their real body counts by 27. People also disingenuously use my truth as a way to flat out lie about something that did or did not happen. A great example, now that I'm thinking of it, would be on The Bachelorette last night. Those of you who watched that broadcast, I got a little bit heated at what was going on there. Katie Thurston was on The Bachelorette last night and said that she was EPAR'd. Okay? Anyone watching, man or woman, knew that this was 100% cap. We all knew she was straight up capping. But if someone sat her down and interviewed her, right, and proceeded to quiz her, press her about the fact that not only did she not call her EPAR an EPAR, but that she also pursued a relationship with her alleged attacker, she would simply say, well, you might not believe me, but what happened is my truth. This is the trump card for anyone to just say whatever they want and make whatever accusations and statements they want. Well, you might not see it that way, but this is her truth. So when Shan says true to them, what she needs to understand, and again, I mean no disrespect here, but what she has to understand is that as she is using that against Candace Owen, I guess to sort of trump her argument or arguments or her points of view, what she needs to understand is that women who subscribe to her line of thinking in terms of the way they conduct themselves in sexual relationships use my truth a lot more often than the quote-unquote other side. So when Shan says that's true to them, she is really indirectly admitting that there was probably an element of dishonesty and on whatever statement they made. Just because something is true to someone else does not make it true. Subjective truth is not the truth, guys. Living my truth is subjective truth. That is a misnomer wrapped in an oxymoron, wrapped in a paradox, wrapped in a riddle. Makes absolutely no sense. Let's continue.
Nonetheless, I'm still watching with an open mind because it's around a topic that I adore, and I think every perspective in the intimacy space is valid because we all experience love in unique ways. So I'm like, let me watch and just see what she has to say, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it, and then I scrolled to the comments and saw that people were super enjoying this content.
Let me stop right there. Take a look at your screen, guys. Take a look at your screen. So on your screen, and I'm scrolling through all of her videos, okay? Scrolling through all of her videos. I actually have Video IQ. I have a vidIQ subscription. I guess free endorsement for them. Listen, it's free. Sign up. It works. It works. Right? Anyway, it shows me what percentage of likes each video has. And if you guys are paying attention, As you can see, everything is green. Everything is 98%, 97%, 99. Some even, dude, there was one video on here that's 100% likes, and it had like 90-something thousand views. 100% likes. Every single video has at least a 97% approval rating, except in the upper right-hand corner, the Candace Owens video. Gentlemen, this should tell you that people inherently understand that women who are quote-unquote sexually open and sleep around or have an exorbitant amount of sexual partners devalue themselves. This is what happens. And again, women may not think this is fair. They can cry double standard, but this is biology we're talking about here. Guys, nobody has to tell us that women with a lot of bodies in their past decrease their viability as a girlfriend, a wife, or a mother. And I don't need studies or statistics. Just look around. Live life. Look at social media. Look at the internet. Look around you. It is very easy to see that the overwhelming majority of women who have high body counts, and it's very easy to pick them out, 16 Ways to Immediately Disqualify Her for a Long-Term Relationship is a book that I wrote, donovansharpe.com/newsletter. They make terrible significant others. So Shan can say she's surprised, but she is a woman. And whether she admits it or not, she inherently knows and understands this immutable fact. She can act surprised if she wants to. But we don't need to be told that women with a not so favorable sexual past are less valuable than women who have low body counts or are virgins. That's just all there is to it, guys. And yes, it does sound like she has ODB playing in the background, but I think it's like another version. Hey, dirty, baby, you got your money? I think there's a laundry commercial like that. Anyway.
Mind you, again, it was 2 in the morning when I watched this, so I thought to myself, I wanted to do a response video to this, which I rarely do, just actually watching the video with you and then reacting as I see it. Maybe now that I've had some rest, I'll see things differently. Let's go.
You know what I always say? Experiment with both and tell me what makes you feel better. And that is the truth when it comes to young women, because I dedicated my first episode to young women and really talking to them about these are the options that are being presented to you.
This right here was the truest part of the video and the part that I would like to amplify and uplift.
Shan is being intellectually dishonest here when she says, this is the part that I wanted to amplify and uplift. No, the part that she wanted to amplify and uplift was the sleeping around part. The only reason why she is saying that she agrees with this part of the video is because one of the options presented that Ms. Owens just talked about is having a lot of sex with a lot of different people. Shan Bodie is not interested in amplifying being a stay-at-home mom. She's not trying to amplify being sexually discriminate, exercising sexual temperance. No, she only wants to amplify Candace's way after she's had her fun. Candace Owens said to try it both ways. That is where I diverge from Candace Owens. And I think Candace Owens is trying to hedge there. Maybe that was a Freudian slip. Maybe she didn't really mean to say that. But trying it both ways has failed women miserably. You want to know how I know this? Because most of them, all of them, try it both ways, at least most of the time. Guys, 99% of American women try it both ways. They sleep around with the alphas in their 20s. We all know the story, right? Then they settle down with the provider in their mid to late 30s. But because her body count makes it almost impossible to pair bond with another man, she ends up either directly or indirectly sabotaging her relationship. She characterizes, this is the typical American woman, she characterizes her lack of tingles and all of the excitement and dopamine that only sleeping around can provide as, I'm just not feeling it anymore. They'll say things like, well, I love him, but I'm not in love with him. So what does she do? She blows up her marriage. She uses the no-fault divorce system to get her cash and prizes from her soon-to-be ex-husband and jumps back on the merry-go-round looking for that same high she felt when she was back in her 20s. But when she discovers that she is all but invisible to the men who used to smash her in her 20s, she throws her hands up and says, where have all the good men gone? rinse and repeat. Stop me if you've heard that one before, right? This is the typical dating arc of American women who try it both ways. Guys, sleeping around has dire consequences for women, mentally, physically, and sometimes even spiritually. Once a woman experiences sleeping around, at some point, she hits the point of no return. She hits that line of demarcation. Some women it's some women it's 5 guys, some women it's 55 guys. But at some point they hit a point of no return. I can guarantee you that if Shan Bodie advised, I'll put it this way. So if Shan Bodie were to tell girls, try it both ways, she is leading them astray. She's not telling them about the consequences of being sexually open. Right? If she were to advise someone to try it both ways, she wouldn't tell them to get married young and have a family first. That's not the part she wants to amplify and uplift. No. She'll tell her to sleep around and then get married. I'm going to open up the phone lines a little bit later, guys. I'm going to open up the phone lines a little bit later. So to get your thoughts on everything. Let me read some of these comments here. Black Lemur, what the? Black Lemur 2009 with the $500 super chat. Oops, wait a minute. Says she might be suffering from hit dog syndrome. That is 100% right. I said it before and I'll say it again. Shan Bodie is one of the most reasonable, level-headed female content creators I've ever seen. And listen, she's very respectable. Obviously, she's very attractive. She's open and honest. She really is. But that doesn't mean that this, and I don't have anything against her personally, because I think she's a decent human being from what I understand. But the way her whole presentation, like she's not some thought up here talking about, oh, do this and do that. No, she makes her lifestyle sound very organic and spiritual and self-discovery. No. None of that. None of those adjectives can be used to describe her lifestyle. Her lifestyle is quite literally having a lot of sex with a lot of people. And listen, that's the path that she decided to take. Good for her. But what she needs to point out, and maybe she's not able to point this out yet, but what she needs to be able to point out are the consequences of this lifestyle, right? We'll get into that a little bit later, but I appreciate Black Lemur 9000 with another $500 super chat. Holy moly. Man, I am dried out. Woo! All right. Lars Vaughn says life is a freak show. Non-consensual violation, absolutely. Okay, let's continue.
Try both out for yourself. I think this notion that there is a one-size-fits-all way to be happy, to mate, to exist in a relationship that I see increasingly happen online is a farce.
Now, let's rewind that. Let's rewind what she said, because she snuck something in there. And this is exactly why she leads women astray with her message. Let's listen to that again.
Being presented to you.
This right here was the truest part of the
Just
video,
listen.
and the part that I would like to amplify and uplift. Try both out for yourself. I think this notion...
Again, try both out for yourself. She would never tell women, hey, get married young and have a family, and if that doesn't work out, then you can sleep around. Oh, no. Because if a girl were to ask her, well, should I get married first? She'd be like, well, if you get married, now you're tied down by a husband. No, it ain't try it both. Again, this is why she endorses try it both ways, because she knows most women are going to try the sleep around way first.
That there is a one-size-fits-all way to be happy, to mate, to exist in a relationship that I see increasingly happen online is a farce.
Okay, now, this is the sticking point. This is the sticking point of Ms. Bodie's message. She says, I don't believe in this one size fits all to be happy, exist in a relationship, etc., etc. And you want to know something? I totally agree. I totally agree. There isn't a one-size-fits-all, especially in today's world. Look, we've got the gig economy. 2021, it's another world here in 2021. There are many, many different kinds of relationships that work. There are many kinds of relationships that don't work. People exist in different relationships and they experience love in many different ways, except for when it comes to mating. And this is the sticking point of her message. Shan Bodhi is not talking about the way people exist in relationships and one size fits all, and no. This is quite literally, and what she is doing here, she probably doesn't even know she's doing this, but she is muddying the waters by talking about all these different factors. One size doesn't fit all in relationships and the way we receive love and the way people exist in relationships and this and that. Maybe not. But one size does fit all when it comes to the way people mate and have sex. Listen, it doesn't matter what kind of a relationship you're in. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you're a college girl, whether you're a middle-aged mother with kids about to go off to college, of the millions of different kinds of relationships there is one immutable factor where one size absolutely doesn't fit all, but it fits most, and that is monogamy. That's it. This is all Shan Bodhi is talking about. People, and you know, it's interesting. She puts this so eloquently, and she sort of brushes over it. Let's listen to that again.
Notion that there is a one-size-fits-all way to be happy, to mate, to exist in a relationship.
To be happy, to exist in a relationship, she snuck in mate. No. There might not be a one-size-fits-all as far as mating and sex is concerned, but there is a one-size-fits-most, and that is monogamy. That is monogamy. Listen, man, when it comes down to it, when a man and a woman are in a relationship, there is an unspoken agreement that they are going to be sexually exclusive to one another. That's just all there is to it. Now, whether there's cheating on one side or another, and I've been on record saying there's no such thing as male cheating. I stand by that. Oh my God, Donovan, you're being hypocritical. No, I'm not. I am not being hypocritical. Men do not cheat. We exercise options. That's all there is to it. That will be for another day and time. We'll probably discuss that when I'm in Miami on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Congratulations to Myron and Fresh. They were on the No Jumper. I guess that'll drop soon, right? But what we are talking about, what Shan is sort of covering up and brushing over, is that she is endorsing non-monogamous relationships. People try non-monogamous relationships all the time, and they never work. Non-monogamous if two people are in a non-monogamous relationship, someone is going to be unhappy. Someone's going to be unhappy. There are people who are in non-monogamous relationships who have no idea that they are in a non-monogamous relationship. In other words, they're getting cheated on, right? That's the way this works. And again, Shan Bodhi, she's very spiritual and open and sexually free and this and that, and that's fine. That's 100% fine. But that's not for everybody. That's not for most people. We don't even know if it's for Shan Bodhi yet. Listen, man, she's still beautiful at the age of 36. She's a new mother. It appears that she was able to have her cake and eat it too and have a kid at an advanced age. But she's still very young. She's only 36. The jury is still out on, we don't know if she's happy or not. We don't know if she has some sort of messed up psychological stuff from the things that she's done. You talk to adult film stars. What's the Coach Greg Adams recently talked about? There was an adult film star who wanted all of her videos taken down. And she says, well, there's this one scene in particular that's going to stay with me. You don't think Shan Bodhi has engaged in sexual acts that kind of mess with her head? You don't think she's ever engaged in anything that was nasty or maybe in her mind degrading, right? Well, Donovan, she doesn't have to sleep around to be subjected to those types of things. You're absolutely right. But you certainly increase the odds of being subjected to these things by sharing your body with hordes of men. Again, nothing wrong with it. I am not here to tell women that it is wrong to sleep around. And I'm being serious. If you want to sleep around, sleep around. But there is a price to be paid. There is a price to be paid. There are costs for everything. You don't become wealthy by working 4 hours a week. No, when you become wealthy, you sacrifice relationships, you sacrifice sleep, you sacrifice your health. That is a cost, right? If you want to become the greatest ice sculptor in the world, you're probably going to have to deal with frostbite, not seeing your friends and family, hours at the ice sculpting palace. Anything that is worth accomplishing, anything that is worth doing, anything that is fulfilling, I suppose, it's going to come with a cost. Sex is the one thing that women don't seem to understand comes with a price. They think they can sleep around and still have the mental wherewithal to be able to have a healthy monogamous relationship after they're done sleeping around. That's just not possible. It may appear that Shan Bodhi has a healthy sexual monogamous relationship, and to be honest with you, she might not even be monogamous. Maybe her and her husband have an open relationship. I'll never know. I'm not in her bedroom, right? But the fact that this beautiful woman who is eloquent, strong command of the English language, she's married now, she has a child, she's happy, she's accomplished all these great things. Even if she were truly happy, guess what she is? She is the statistical anomaly. Shan Bodhi is the equivalent of a celebrity. She has a huge following. And unfortunately, most of her followers don't realize they're not going to end up like her. Shan Bodhi is the statistical exception.
Relationship that I see increase.
But the point is, all she is talking about, these two different choices, there are only two choices in terms of how to exist in a relationship, people. There's nothing complicated about this. It's either monogamous or non-monogamous. That's it. Happiness and existing, none of that. Listen, that stuff factors in, but no. If you just take out all the BS, the only options there are monogamy and non-monogamy. It doesn't matter if you are, I got to be careful here. It doesn't matter how you identify. It doesn't matter where you, no, it is either monogamous or non-monogamous. It has very little to do with all of these other factors she's trying to sort of throw in. And oh, by the way, there's more than one way to skin a cat. One size doesn't fit all when it comes to sex. Yes, it does. One size fits most. That is monogamy.
Increasingly happen online is a farce. In essence, what I believe is happening for a lot of people is that they are dissatisfied with their love life and with their romantic options. And instead of looking at themselves and saying, well, am I marketing myself to the right group, number one, or two, is there some self-work that I have to do? Or three, do I have to work harder to find my people? They're just saying the whole system is corrupt and the whole system is wrong.
Well, that's because it is, Ms. Bodhi. The whole system is corrupt and the whole system is wrong. You see, our culture pushes non-monogamy. And in non-monogamous societies, we get what we get. Relationships are they're a shit show. They're in the trash can. Anyone paying attention, all you have to do is look around and you can see that sexual relations between men and women have never been more contentious. So for her to say, well, the whole, they believe that the whole system is jacked up. Yes, the whole system is messed up. And this is talking about marriage or even casual relationships. Marriage, casual relationships, long-term relationships. We had a guy in Canada date a woman for 10 years. He had to pay her some sort of alimony. Never married. Yeah, the whole damn system is messed up, Ms. Bodhi.
Truth of the matter is, there are lots of people who exist in a modern way and find tons of joy and happiness and connection. Just like there are tons of people who prefer a more traditional route and prefer women or people who identify as women to take on a more traditional role.
See, when she says traditional versus non-traditional, what she is talking about is monogamy and non-monogamy. See, again, people who endorse this lifestyle, they understand. And listen, she's very good at what she does. She understands that her detractors are going to say X, Y, and Z. So what she does is she covers herself, or she sort of muddies the waters by talking about all of these other factors. Well, some people exist in a non-traditional way. Yeah, you know what? There are some people who have non-traditional relationships. But the most successful non-traditional relationships are relationships where there is monogamy. There are some people who enjoy non-traditional situations. The relationships that are the least successful are the relationships that are non-monogamous. Again, I want to make this clear. Shan Bodhi is a very well-learned, well-traveled individual, okay? She is very, very good. She is excellent at what she does. What I'm here to tell you is the only thing she is discussing. Don't let all of the verbal jujitsu and all the mental gymnastics fool you, okay? The trick is, okay, right, you're seeing this, but the real trick is happening down here. Traditional versus non-traditional. And again, what she'll do is she'll try to then people, what is traditional versus non-traditional? No, I'm not asking any of those questions. I'm talking about monogamy versus non-monogamy. Non-monogamy is what destroys relationships. That's it. That's all there is to it.
And that's what brings them joy and happiness. So the truth of the matter is, do try out both for yourself. See what feels right and what feels best for you, and then own that lane.
Yeah, well, if a girl tries to get married young and have a family young and says, well, that's the way I've tried it, and I know this works for me. You want to know what women like Shan Bodhi are going to tell her? Well, how do you know if you haven't tried the other way? You see, again, this is why I know when she says, I endorse trying it both ways, maybe she does. But she only endorses trying it both ways when the sleeping around part comes first. When the getting married young and having a family young is first, not so much. And again, nothing wrong with her for saying that. But let's try to be a little more intellectually honest. Instead, she should say, listen, okay, Candace endorses trying it both ways. I endorse it trying it both ways as long as you try the sleeping around part first. That's what she should have said. Because we all know that she does not endorse getting married young and having kids. No, she herself waited until she was 36 years old to have a kid.
The problem is, though, is that she continued to speak.
Okay, there we go. And so now she's starting to get a little bit pithy here.
These are the options that are being presented to you. Less. Take off more clothes, do the most to get attention, right? If you think that that's freedom, the idea that you have to wear less and the idea that you have to get naked to be heard, you really think that's a form of freedom? Because that's not. That's slavery. That's bondage.
Uh-oh.
I didn't have to take off my clothes to be heard in society.
No, you didn't have to take off your clothes to be heard by society, but you did have to say some sensational, highly offensive things in order to spark an emotion out of people.
Oh, see, now Ms. Bodhi is in her emotions. Now she is trying to conflate taking off your clothes or posting scantily clad pictures on social media. She's trying to conflate that with expressing what she believes is a controversial opinion. And by the way, Shan Bodhi, who is very good at not offending anybody, she never, and again, no shade on her, man. She does what she does. Dude, compared to her, I'm a nobody. Dude, this chick she's probably got a net worth into the 7 figures. She's got a family. Listen, man, all due respect to Ms. Bodhi, right? But what is happening here is she is trying to convince you that taking off your clothes or wearing next to nothing to get attention on Instagram is the same as expressing one's opinion on traditional versus non-traditional relationships. They are not the same thing. They're not the same thing. They don't seek the same goal. They are not the same thing. Not only that, now, again, Ms. Bodhi, who does a very good job at not really making, how can I put this? She doesn't speak in absolutions, right? If she feels like she's going to offend somebody, well, it's almost like she's the type of person who doesn't agree or disagree with anything. Well, if that's what you think, then that's perfectly... No. There are certain absolutions in this life. That's just how it is. People who speak in absolutions are the most highly criticized. Shan Bodhi is not highly criticized because she doesn't really speak in absolutions, except, of course, when it comes to things that she disagrees with traditional versus non-traditional relationships. She just sat here and told us, well, she said some highly offensive, highly controversial stuff. Well, I mean, why is it offensive to you, Ms. Bodhi? Because it pertains to you? Listen, just like somebody in the chat said, or it was just like Black Lemur said, kind of sounds like she's a hit dog. No disrespect to Ms. Bodhi. I'm not trying to disrespect her, but I mean, I suppose I would react the same way if somebody talked like that about my lifestyle. But then again, my lifestyle is rooted in truth. It's not rooted in my truth. It's rooted in truth. This is not subjective truth. Masculinity blends very well with femininity. That is not my truth. That is the truth. That is the objective truth. Ms. Bodie lives a subjective truth. That's just all there is to it. And if you take a look at your screen, Let's look at Ms. Bodie's YouTube. Again, I'm not trying to throw shade at her. I'm just trying to maybe explain why she's having such a, I don't want to say visceral, but a strong emotional reaction. Seductive private dance lesson. That looks like what Ms. Owens is describing. Yep. And again, Shan, she's a smoke show. She's one of the hottest chicks I've ever seen, man. She's beautiful. She's articulate. Here we are, oral sex drama. See? Right? And again, this is Shan's brand. This is who she is. Sex positivity, etc., etc. Well, just because Candace Owens is against it doesn't mean it's offensive to you, maybe. That's not offensive to me. Of course you think it's offensive. But to sit here and conflate taking off your clothes for attention to making provocative statements, those two things are very, very different.
You're no different. So if there are...
See, here we go. You're no different. Yes, Ms. Bodie, she is very different. Listen, no, of course she's different. Again, she's trying to say that, pick an Instagram model who wears next to nothing is the same as Candace Owens. No. They are very, very different. And it's obvious they're very different. If they weren't different, then Shan wouldn't have to tell us that they are no different. That's ridiculous.
Women who are taking off their clothes to get attention, you are doing a emotional or proverbial thirst trap to get attention.
Oh, so now there's an emotional, so now we're talking about thirst traps. So now we're gonna compare thirst traps like this. Right? Seductive private dance lesson. We're going to compare that thirst trap to Candace Owens urging girls to put off sex until marriage. No, I don't think so. That's not the same.
You are saying highly provocative things.
Right. Saying highly provocative things is not the same as taking off your clothes on Instagram, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
They are dressing provocatively. You are speaking provocatively.
Do you see what she's doing? And you see how less convincing? This is the thing. Now she's in her emotions. Now she's clearly upset. Do you see how much less convincing her argument is now that she's in her feelings? It makes absolutely no sense. Well, you're dressing provocatively, you speaking provocatively, it's the same thing. Shan, come on, man. Again, I guess Shan is offended because I guess her brand is seen as immoral or amoral, without morals. Is there such thing as moral versus immoral? I don't know. All I know is that women who have a lot of sex partners make much worse wives, girlfriends, and mothers than women who have a lot less. That's what I know. I know that monogamous relationships work a lot better than non-monogamous relationships. That's what I know.
To get attention. Now, you are correct. There is various different ways to get people's eyeballs and to get people's ears. You are choosing one way and they are choosing one way.
Which are two very different ways. And you want to know why we know they're very different ways, Ms. Bodie? It's because they're getting two very different audiences. You see, when you thirst trap by dressing provocatively, the attention that you get is a lot different than the attention that Candace Owens gets.
Your way isn't better than anyone's way, though.
Oh, see, here we go. You see? Now Shan's in her feelings. Your way isn't better. Did Candace Owens, listen, here, look. Did Candace Owens say that her way was better? I don't remember her saying it was better, right? I'm not saying that monogamy is better than non-monogamy. If I did, I misspoke. I can tell you that people who are in monogamous relationships, those relationships last longer than people who are in non-monogamous relationships. And guess what? Maybe people like non-monogamous relationships because they're shorter. Whatever. But I do know this. People would rather be in the majority, 99.9%, would be more satisfied with a monogamous relationship than a non-monogamous relationship. I do know that. So we can talk in these non-absolutions all we want to. This is biology we're talking about here. And, listen, Candace Owens pulled Shan Bodie's card without even having to say her name. This is why Shan is all in her feelings and trying to say that Candace Owens making provocative statements is the same as her seductive private dance lessons or eating certain types of pies as she's discussed on her YouTube channel. Again, I'm not passing judgment. This is her lifestyle. I am not mad at her. But if the shoe fits, you got to wear it, Shan. You got to wear it.
It is just a successful way. And I feel like if you can relate that and say, look, I totally get it. I say some wild ass shit to get attention.
Yes, but you also dress provocatively to get attention. And that's okay. Just call it that.
You dress and look and present yourself in a wild ass way. Again, if we went back to that original sentiment, that might work for you. This is what works for me. I think what's important is for women to know that there's options out there. Again, that would be the great end to this video.
Right. It would be the great end to this video, Shan. But here's the problem. Yes, women do know that there are options. Unfortunately, women like yourself, with all due respect, don't talk about the consequences. Again, is there anything wrong with thirst trapping on Instagram? No. Is there anything wrong with having threesomes or getting a train ran on you and calling it a threesome? No, of course not. Listen, man, we live in a free country. We live in a free world. You can do whatever you want with whoever you want in any way you want. That's just the way it is. But there are costs. There are consequences. There is a price to be paid for everything. You know what? There's a price to be paid for getting married young and starting a family. Yes, there are. Are you kidding me? Sleeping around is a lot more exciting than being a stay-at-home mom. The price you pay for being a stay-at-home mom is not getting to experience that nightlife, right? Being a stay-at-home mom, a lot of the sacrifices you have is you don't really have a lot of mommy friends, right? Not many women her age are probably moms. All the moms are probably a little bit older, so they really can't identify as well as maybe a wife or mother that is a little bit younger. I understand that. But in the long run, what are the long-term costs? Okay, being a stay-at-home mom is not all peaches and cream. I think we all know that, right? My mom was a stay-at-home mom. When my dad was in the military, I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and me and my 2 brothers, we terrorized our mother. We're 3 rambunctious boys. We're eating everything in the house. We're putting holes in the wall, breaking dishes. This is how it is, right? So while sleeping around may be more exciting, it appears that foregoing that stage and being a mother is much more fulfilling. You cannot have a fulfilling life as a housewife after having slept around for a decade and a half. I don't think Shan understands this. So when she talks about, we need to talk about the options. No, trust me, Shan. Girls know that there are plenty of options to get their message out. What they're not aware of are the consequences. They're not aware of the cost. They're not aware of the price they pay for living this lifestyle. Again, it's not right. It's not wrong. But let's tell the whole story. Hang on a second. It is kind of cool that she's got ODB playing in the background, though.
But unfortunately, she keeps talking.
These women
See, she's in her feelings.
will realize that when you follow these people that are, self-imposed feminists, I'm a feminist, I do this, I'm a feminist, you hear that word over and over and over again, you'll find that the majority of them are miserable.
Where will you find the majority of them are miserable?
Is she kidding? Is Shan serious? Let's rewind that.
I'm a feminist, I do this, I'm a feminist, you hear that word over and over and over again, you'll find that the majority of them are miserable.
Where will you find the majority of them are miserable? The term feminism is a catch-all term.
See, here we go. Pundits like her try to take feminism and, how can I say this? They try to take the word feminism and give it all sorts of definitions. That way you can't put anybody in a box.
Various different reasons that people tap into it or feel connected to that term. Some people just genuinely believe that there should be equality amongst the sexes.
And listen, how can I put this? There isn't equality amongst the sexes. There should be, but there isn't. the sex that has every conceivable advantage are the women. So there is no gender equality in this day and age. It is the men who are seriously disadvantaged. But I'll take it one step further. What feminism attempts to do is say that men and women not equal, because I think women understand that men and women are equal. But like, as men, we bring things to the table that women generally cannot, and vice versa. But what this new wave feminism attempts to do is try to say that men and women are not the same. Men and women aren't the same. They're not. This is what the real feminism is trying to do. They're saying the reason we endorse feminism is because we want to promote equality. There is no equality. Men are at a disadvantage, women are not. That's it. So, and you know what? I don't even care. I'm not even gonna bitch and moan about that. Listen, women in this country, they need all of the advantages they have. Because if today's women, the way they are, didn't have the advantages they had, it'd really be a shit show. So, listen, I endorse giving women, give them all the scholarships, force them all to STEM, give them all that. Because without all that, it'd be absolute total chaos. That being said, what feminism attempts to do is to try to make men and women the same. Men and women are not the same. Men are stronger than women. Women are far more perceptive than men. Men do much better in STEM careers. Women are much better caretakers. That's what this is. So again, now that feminism has rightfully gotten a bad rap, now we get people who have endorsed this line of thinking. Well, some people dip their toe in and then this is ridiculous.
Some people use feminism as a way of showing pride for their identity as a woman.
Here we go.
Some people genuinely do believe that women are superior to men and are fighting for that.
Yeah, that's obviously the biggest portion, but whatever.
Again, there's pockets and sub-pockets in different regions of the world. So where did you get this catch-all bit of information that majority of them are miserable?
Shan, take a look around you, Miss Bodie. Like, is she really, like, seriously? And again, and she's not going to respond to this. She doesn't know who I am. She's never going to. But with all due respect, Shan, look around you. Look around you. Women are fucking miserable. Sexual relations between men and women have never been more contentious. There is a battle of the sexes for a reason. Men and women hate each other. We are constantly going back and forth. Women who endorse that kind of feminism are absolutely miserable. Are you serious? I don't even need any study no. You look at the average woman, and here's the thing, Miss Bodie. You ask the average woman if she's a feminist, she'll say, well, of course not. But you will find that that they are in lockstep with 97% of feminist ideals. Right? So Ms. Bodie is asking, well, where are the miserable feminists? Well, I would ask you, where are the happy feminists, like Mike the Supreme asks? 007-373-5963.
And furthermore, what are you defining as a feminist?
See, here we go. See? Anytime somebody says this pocket of people are miserable, rather than coming with a strong argument, well, this is the reason it's not true. Well, what exactly is a feminist? Well, why don't you tell us?
Let's explore.
Look at their lives and ask yourself a question. Do you think they are happy? Do you feel good when you do what they do, right? When you're constantly looking for a dopamine hit from social media because you took your clothes off and you want somebody in your comments, a thirst trap with your ass out.
Sean with the $5 super chat says, Shan Bodie doesn't seem to realize that men care about a woman's past, just like a woman cares about a man's potential future when she gives sex advice. Right.
Out, right? And you want someone in your comments going, oh, you slay, bae. You slayed the day, bae. Hashtag Tuesdays, am I right?
Yeah.
And you do this stuff for attention, and you're devaluing yourself. And at the end of the day,
how are you devaluing yourself?
Are you kidding me? That Shan Bodie, and again, and I'm not being facetious here. Because Shan Bodie is clearly intelligent. She is clearly intelligent enough to understand what's what. But for her to honestly say how are you devaluing yourself by thirst trapping? I'm going to rewind this. Maybe I didn't hear the whole question.
Hashtag Tuesdays, am I right?
Yeah.
And you do the stuff for attention, and you're devaluing yourself. And at the end of the day,
How are you devaluing yourself? If you're doing something that is cause and effect, you're getting a result from it, the result that you actually achieved, you're growing your fan base in your market, you're achieving more romantic options.
Oh, Shan. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Dude, how are you devaluing yourself? So what Shan, and again, what Shan is trying to express to us is that a woman who thirst traps to increase her brand, which is fine. Hey, listen, look. Shake what your mama gave you. If you were blessed by the genetic gods and you can make that money, baby girl, do you. Go make that money, girl. I am not mad at you. I ain't mad at you. But you can't then turn around and complain about the consequences. Lana Rhodes, the spicy film star. That's who I was talking about earlier. Coach Greg Adams talked about her on yesterday's live stream. Go and subscribe to his channel. Coach Greg Adams talked about this. Listen, if a woman wants to be an adult film star, Devin's reading my mind. I was going to get to that right now, achieving more romantic options. If a woman chooses to be a spicy movie star, there's nothing wrong with that. You are of legal age. You can make your own decisions. Great. But don't then turn around and complain like Brie Olsen, nobody will hire me. Don't sit there and complain like Mia Khalifa talking about people don't take me seriously. You can't take advantage of a system that rewards certain behavior, but then turn around and complain when you have to deal with the consequences. Yes, you make money and gain notoriety and get desire being an adult film star, but when your career is over, you need to understand that's who you are. That is who you're going to be typecast as. So when Shan Bodie asks, well, how are you devaluing yourself? Okay, so you're thirst trapping, you're growing your brand, you have more romantic options. This is exactly what girls who thirst trap complain about. Why in the world do I attract nothing but losers? Why is it that I get nothing but ain't bleep DMing me? Why do guys only want me for sex? Well, the reason they only want you for sex is because that's the way you advertised yourself, number one. And if you advertise yourself, you're going to get customers. And number two, they understand that if they were a customer of yours, you probably had 248 customers before, just like him. That's why they're not committing. That's how they devalue themselves, Shan. Women, listen, the less women wear, the less they have to offer. That's how it goes. Yes, she achieves more romantic options, but how many of those romantic options are viable husband-like options? Okay, so she thirst trap and she grows her brand, et cetera, et cetera. Where exactly? So I mean, like how many great relationships, how many fulfilling marriages do Instagram thoughts who get ran through by professional athletes? How many do they have? No, they devalue themselves, Shan, and she knows this. And again, she keeps answering questions with questions.
How in the process of this are you devaluing yourself? Potentially, you're devaluing yourself if we're trying to swim in your particular lane. So if
in your particular lane. You see how she did that? Candace's particular lane is the biological lane. Okay? Shan's lane is, it doesn't matter what your sexual past is, you are still valuable and viable as a woman. You are as valuable and viable, a woman who slept with 250 people, as the virginal girl. Those are the two lanes. Listen, if that's the way they want to think, that's fine. And believe it or not, there are some men out here who it really doesn't matter, or at least it can't matter because they don't really have options, right? Devin says in the chat, men don't look at a woman in a bikini, don't look at a woman in a bikini and think, boy, I bet she can cook. Right. That's exactly right. This is so again, she's like, okay, well, maybe they devalue themselves if they endorse your line of thinking. Shan, Candace's line of thinking is the way most of us think. Everyone, men and women, round the world, inherently understand that the more partners a woman has, the less valuable, the less value she has on the dating market. Maybe someone like Shan can understand that, right? Maybe she can't understand it because maybe she was one of the lucky ones. She looks very good for a 36-year-old who has a 5-month-old kid. Listen, man, some people get lucky. But like I said, she is the statistical exception. She's the statistical anomaly. That's what it comes down to. And some of you guys are pointing out about the fact that she's a sex expert. Like I said, I respect Miss Bodie a lot because she's well-spoken and she works hard, man. Like, I'm not going to sit here and throw shade on her lifestyle. But women who look like her don't need to be taught how to seduce men. The game of desire, Shan, you look good. Men want to smash you. End of discussion. Like, there's nothing, dude, honestly, there's nothing women who look like her or women who have half her looks have to do. There is no such thing as a sex expert. No, like there's no, okay, so you can do Kama Sutra and there's certain moves and all this tantric. Okay, oh, you know what? Hey, great. If you can achieve nirvana with, fine, do you. There are a lot of people who endorse that line of thinking. But there's no such thing as a female sex expert. All women are sex experts. You want to know why? Because they've all had a lot of sex. Being able to articulate it in such a way that makes it sound like some sort of cosmic growth. Okay, so you can build a brand out of that. And I'm not disrespecting that. But let's not pretend that anytime you choose a guy to have sex with, you're thinking, okay, we're going to do this from a scientific position. No, you're thinking about this from a hedonistic, pleasurable standpoint, which is fine. But by the same token, I also have a right to say, Shan, you're not a sex expert. Just because you've had a lot of sex doesn't make you a sex expert. Most women have had a lot of sex. And if most women have had a lot of sex, then all women are sex experts. You just happen to speak a little better and look a little better than most who are sex experts.
If they wanted to enter into the realm of political commentary, maybe taking off their clothes is not the best way to get where you are today. But most people that you're trying to preach to, one, don't know who you are, and two,
don't know who you are. See, here we go. See?
two, have no interest in the lifestyle that you've chosen for yourself.
See that? You see, now, I'm going to replay that. See, now Shan's getting into her feelings. She's usually very measured, very articulate about her message. Now she's getting into her feelings, and the reason why is because Candace is indirectly talking about her. She might not be talking about Shan directly, but Shan is who she's talking about, and Shan feels some type of way about it. Like, Shan, honestly, just own it. Like, it is what it is. Be like, hey, you know what? Candace Owens has a problem with my lifestyle. Hey, it is what it is. Don't then fire back and say, bitch, nobody knows who you are, and people don't want your lifestyle. Oh, yes, they do. The problem is women like you get a hold of these young girls and make them think that sleeping around is some sort of cosmic self-growth. No, they are devaluing themselves, which is why the average woman is effing miserable.
Today.
Listen.
But most people that you're trying to preach to, one, don't know who you are.
There we are.
And two, have no interest in the lifestyle that you've
See that? There it is. There's the black woman in her. There's the black woman in her.
chosen for yourself.
There it is.
Have no interest in the kind of DMs that you probably get. Have no interest in opening their Instagram up and seeing the things that people say to you in the comment section. So that to be said, again, going back to the original point, there's various different ways, but why are you focusing any negative energy towards assuming that these people's lives are specifically and tragically miserable?
Because they are, Shan. They are. And you know they are. Dude, either Shan is seriously naive and misguided, and as a 36-year-old woman, I find that very hard to believe, but hey, listen, I'm open to believing anything, right? Or she's just flat out denying it. I guess she has to flat out deny it. I guess if she has to deny it because her brand depends on it, okay, great. Hey, listen, she should just say, listen, man, listen, I'm sure there are a lot of miserable women out there who endorse my line of thinking, but I mean, I'm here for the people who want to do what I do.
Because I can tell you, as somebody who works in this field and has worked in this field for 15 years, and spoken to hundreds of thousands of people at this point, and had access to millions of different stories through the various projects that I've been a part of. The people who are struggling to date and mate, the ones who are having the most challenges finding partners, are not the ones who subscribe to this formula.
You see what she just did there? You see what she just did there? Now she's way off. Like, Shan should not have done this. She's off her game, man. And honestly, I probably could have made a response video to, even though I agree with what Candace Owens said, I can make a response video that's a hell of a lot more effective, a hell of a lot more effective opposition than this. Like, dude, I could do a response video that would convince you guys that I 100% agree with Ms. Bodie without all the feelings involved. But again, if the shoe fits, right? Candace Owens is indirectly talking about Ms. Bodie. This is why she's in her feelings. So now we come around. Yeah, King Life says there's only 13 people watching in my backup channel. So how can I put this? So where was I? Right. So the people who endorse her line of thinking, right? She basically just used well, I don't know any women like that, right? We've heard and seen discussions. Women are this, women are that. Well, I'm not like that. I don't know any women like that. So what Shan Bodie just did here was, listen, I don't know where all these miserable people are coming from, but the hundreds of thousands of millions of people I've been in contact with, none of them are miserable. Shan, that's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. Listen, man, I've met a lot of guys who endorse my line of thinking. A lot of them are miserable. And the reason why they're miserable is because they are working towards becoming the best versions of themselves. I have never been one to sit here and say, everybody that I teach this to lives awesome lives. Awesome lives. No, they don't live awesome lives yet. But for Shan to sit here and tell us, again, this is the only time she's answered a question, right? Every time Candace Owens asks a question proverbially, Shan Bodie answers a question with a question, right? Like, that's what she does. Then finally she comes up with an answer. Well, nobody knows who you are. Nobody wants to endorse your line of thinking. Nobody I know is miserable. I've talked to hundreds of thousands of millions of bazillions of people, and everybody's living these great lives. If that were the case, then women like Candace Owens wouldn't exist, Shan.
And the problem with that, I think, and where I would wish that you would have gone with this conversation, is that we are not offering more options for ways to get attention or for ways.
Okay, that's a valid point, but why is that Candace's fault? It's not Candace Owens' job to come up with different ways to get attention, right? And let's keep it real, Shan. Half of your audience, probably men, because of the way you look, and that's okay. That's okay. Like, listen, man, and again, I'm not trying to throw shade, but I would probably imagine that Shannon Budrum, I think that's her name, she she probably understands, hey, you know what? Half of my following are guys because they kind of like the way I look. Hey, it is what it is. I'm not mad at that. But for her to sit here and say that Candace Owens' way is the wrong way, come on.
For women to market themselves to be looked at as desirable. But the people who are utilizing their sex appeal and utilizing seduction,
like you,
they aren't the ones who are complaining. Possibly they are complaining about not finding the right partners.
I wonder why, Shan. Why are they complaining about not finding the right partners? It's because the way they market themselves and the way they get attention for themselves, right? You said it yourself, Shan. This is not devaluing yourself. Really? If these people aren't devaluing themselves by getting attention the way you endorse it, then why aren't people of value finding them? Because they are devaluing themselves. So for her to disingenuously there are some. No, No, stop doing that. These are those statistics she's pulling out of her head. And again, she's being non-committal. She's being very non-definitive, right? There are some, probably, maybe, You gotta be definitive. Candace Owens is definitive. A, most people who identify as feminist, fucking miserable. And Shanna's like, well, wait a minute. How do you know this? Look around. And then she proves the point right here. Okay, maybe some people are come on, Shan.
Possibly they are complaining about not having long-term options out of all the short-term bits of attention that they get.
Oh my God, possibly they are complaining about their lack of long-term options because of the translation. They are complaining because they're tired of getting passed around. Dude, again, Shan is very good at this. I'm not going to sit here and say, see, it's obvious to people like us because we're sort of trained to see this. But to the lay person, to the lay woman who watches this, it would be very easy to convince her, yeah, you know what? I guess being non-monogamous is kind of healthy. I mean, Shan, she's 36. She's got a 5-month-old. She looks great. She doesn't look like she's mentally damaged or anything. Let's go ahead and live her life. No, Shan is the statistical anomaly.
But again, that's just a matter of a lapse in skill set.
A lapse in skill set? So let me get this straight. Because they couldn't thirst trap good enough, that explains their lack of options? What skill set, Ms. Bodie, what's the lack of skill set? What lack of skill set are these thirst trappers not able to do? What's the skill they need to stop attracting dudes who are going to pass them around?
Haven't yet learned how to sift through all the options to pick the right one for them.
And how would you do that? How would you know which men want to use you for sex and which men want to keep you around if you're thirst trapping? By the way, phone lines are open. 516-387-1987. 516-387-1987. 516-387-1987. I want to hear your thoughts on Ms. Bodie. Again, please be respectful. 516-387-1987.
Themselves, and furthermore, they haven't had the benefit of intimacy education. So
they lack a skill set, and so they haven't had the benefit of intimacy education. You want to know what intimacy education they need is abstinence. Don't sleep around. Don't be a 304. Don't get passed around. Don't be a hoe. Like, what, again, with all due respect, what Shan is convincing she's convincing women that that there are no consequences to being sexually indiscriminate. Maybe I'm missing videos where she says, hey, here's the downside of being a hoe. Maybe I've missed that. But according to everything that I see here, I mean, okay, she told us how she had chlamydia that one time. But according to the scariest thing about love, okay, all right, the truth about myself. According to what I see here, she would have us believe that living this kind of life, a non-monogamous, sexually indiscriminate life, is all peaches and cream. It's all sunshine and rainbows. Hang on a second. All right.
A lot of attention without informed education behind it is going to put people at a high rate of choosing the wrong partners.
This is just God. I'm trying to be as respectful as I can. Let's go back and listen to that whole thing.
Benefit of intimacy education, a matter of a lapse in skill set. They haven't yet learned how to sift through all the options to pick the right one for themselves. And furthermore, they haven't had the benefit of intimacy education. So a lot of attention without informed education behind it is going to put people at a high rate of choosing the wrong partners.
That's a bunch of jibber jabber. So now they need a better skill set. And then they need informed sex education. What informed? Again, Ms. Bodie's not giving informed sex education. And again, I could be wrong, but it appears just by looking at her channel. Look, let's take a look at her channel. I see a lot of sex positivity without a lot of content. I mean, the biggest mistake women make during sex, women discuss being pro-casual sex, understanding how arousal works. Dude, come on, man. How to kiss like a how to keep your lover's interest. I mean, the truth of, it's all peaches and cream. My boyfriend demands sex before marriage. Oral sex drama. How to seduce. How to make anyone fall for you. Again, this is her brand. But for her to characterize her brand as somehow, I guess it could be a good thing. But what she needs to do, what Shan needs to do, is she really needs to say, look, man, it's a lot of fun sleeping around, but not everybody ends up like I do. And even I don't really know what the long-term side effects are. Sex education, like all that was a bunch of hooey.
But these people at least have options for choosing partners. The people who actually need help and who need guidance and scaffolding are the ones who are not opting into this lifestyle.
The same way that you
That was, again, that's ridiculous. That was just a bunch of nonsense.
found
Again, Shan is very intelligent, but she didn't have an argument for that. She had no argument for that. That's why that was just a bunch of jibber jabber.
him is the same way he's going to find somebody else, because we are increasingly becoming a part of a society that's ADHD. You want to know why our grandparents stayed together? Because they weren't looking at ass cheeks all day on Instagram and refreshing it and going, oh, well, that girl looks younger, that girl looks better, that girl's face
Oh, look at this. Now Shan's back in her feelings.
tuned.
I'm gonna do something I probably shouldn't do.
Then why do it?
So please join me in the comment section. I'm going to answer personally why my grandparents stayed together. And I'm going to tell you, Candace, it didn't have a damn thing to do with Instagram.
See, now she's in her feelings. Now, see, again, she's talking about, Shan is taking this personally. She's taking this personally. You want to know why she's taking this personally? Because the shoe fits. Shan would not, again, she wouldn't feel the need to defend her lifestyle if it really were just this nebulous, everything is right, nothing is right or wrong. But Shan is a woman. She inherently knows, like everyone else, that her lifestyle, while fun and exciting, does have some drawbacks. Not the least of which is ending up single. Now, again, she can't really speak to that because, of course, she's married. I think she is. And she has a child. She's still pretty. She's still an influencer. But we don't really know. We don't really know.
On my one side, my grandma stayed with a man who was physically abusive.
So now
what
I'm gonna do this.
Children,
all right,
an alcoholic.
See, here we go.
In addition,
Here we go. So I'm just gonna let her talk all the stuff she normally talks about. Blah blah blah. Curious People with the $5 super chat says, thanks for dropping good gems today. Danny T says, I explained it in scientific terms under Danny DBC and Sharpe Stream Cat. Appreciate that. Let's see. Merciless Reese, $10 says, most female creators like herself create their own bubble coming off solipsistic. Many ex-feminists on YouTube are expressing their displeasures with life. Of course they are. Absolutely.
On the other side of my family, my grandma did stay with somebody that she was married to for 30 years or 50 years, whatever number would get people to like stand up and clap at a brunch. And she stayed with this person and is still with this person. So I will refrain from sharing full details on how despicable the things that I even know of that went on in that marriage.
Here we go.
But a lot of it had to do with cheating. A lot of it had to do with interests in women that would now be deemed as illegal. And they stayed regardless.
Okay, you know what? Okay. So a couple of your grandfathers were scumbags. Okay, again, the statistical anomaly. Okay, so your grandmother stayed with your, and again, she says, my grandmother stayed with my grandfather and it didn't have a damn thing to do with Instagram. That had nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything. She just wanted to say, look, man, how can I put this? She wanted to curse at Candace. She wanted to curse at Candace. Candace wasn't saying, well, the reason why every grandparent has stayed together is because of Instagram. No shit, right? Well, my grandparents stayed together for 72 years and have a damn thing to do with Instagram. And then she proceeds to tell us why. And surprise, surprise, grandfather was a scumbag and she stayed anyway. Okay, so grandpa was a scumbag. Like, what do you, honestly, what do you want, a lollipop? Like, get out of here with that. You got to come up with a better argument than that. Candace is right. The reason why our grandparents stayed together is because there was no Instagram back then. There were no dating apps. Women didn't have endless options all around the world.
So possibly,
Here we go.
some of your grandparents
Here
stayed
we-
together because there wasn't Instagram.
Do you see what she does here? You see what she does here? She agrees with Candace, but only right at the end after she lambasts her for 5 minutes. So after all that, possibly your grandparents stayed together because there was no Instagram. You think?
But probably a lot of your
Probably. Here we
grandparents
go.
stayed together because divorce was extremely taboo.
Oh.
For women in particular, there was very little they could do on the legal side.
Yes, Ms. Bodie. That's exactly right. Divorce was taboo, and there was very little they could do on the legal side to what?
To protect themselves.
To protect themselves. So divorce was taboo. There was very little women could do to protect themselves legally. Things could not be more different today. Women are now throwing divorce parties, and women don't even have to protect themselves legally. All they have to do is snap a finger, and they get instant cash and prizes. Instant cash and prizes. Women are now incentivized to divorce men. That, along with Instagram, that's why our grandparents stayed together.
Against abusive partners. And then in terms of finding a livelihood outside of marriage, options were very sparse.
You've got 13
Yeah. No, options were not sparse. They just didn't have a smartphone like Ms. Owens just stated. Let's see. Yes, Dan in Alaska, Efo in Atlanta, Mel from New York, Apollo in Pittsburgh. I'll come to you guys shortly. Stay on the line.
10-year-olds getting lip injections, right? Because they want to look like Kylie Jenner. Again, not a shot to Kylie Jenner, but what society have we created that ever made Kylie Jenner feel like she had to go out and buy those lips, that she had to contour her entire face and change her entire body? She was already a beautiful little girl. So the society is ill. It's not normal, right? Don't let these people convince you that that's normal. That's cancer, and that cancer will become contagious to you.
Now, who can argue with this? It is unfortunate that we live in a world where there's
right.
so much pressure, especially on young girls, to try to appeal to the current beauty standard. But I would argue that the pressure isn't new, and the preferential treatment given to those who fit within the beauty standard isn't new.
When women say beauty standard, they... T.O. Smooth, don't be mean. Typical half-breed chick. Come on, man. Like, let's not be disrespectful. Like, I understand we disagree, but, listen, man, I'm sure if I were to meet Shannon in real life, I'm sure she's a lovely person. We just are diametrically opposed on relationships. But when people say beauty standards, they say it with a negative connotation. Of course, there's a beauty standard, just like there's a masculine standard. When a woman describes what she wants in her ideal man, he's got to be X, Y, Z, A, B, C. They're all different. They're all a little bit different, but they're all pretty much the same. They want a guy to be taller than them, good looking, and make a decent amount of money. Men don't complain about the masculine standard. Well, oh, hang on. Oh, thank you. I'm on my third glass of water. Men don't complain about I can't believe there's this masculine standard. There's this unrealistic standard. Now, there are some men who do complain about it, but not as much as women do. Beauty standard is always used as a negative connotation to somehow imply that it's a bad thing that we as men are not attracted to women who are obese or overweight.
But now, the options to be included in the standard, that's what's new. The ability for people to say, hey, maybe I wasn't dealt the genetic cards, to fit into this group who has more mates,
Right.
Is treated kinder by people,
More mates, higher body count.
and gets more attention online. There's something I can do about that. I actually believe that this problem is correcting
I'm not mad at that.
itself by way of Instagram.
What? So she believes that the problem is correcting itself by way of Instagram?
Because of the fact, back in the day, for example, the less mediums that you have, the more that the media has an impact on what you think, what you feel, and what you believe is beautiful or not beautiful.
Including options for your grandparents. You just sat there and said, my grandparents stayed together and didn't have a damn thing to do with Instagram. Yet, in the same breath, you're going to say, well, the reason why there are more beauty standards now is because back in the day, there wasn't as much media. You can't, listen, man, and again, people like Shan do this all the time. They'll use one argument like, well, wait a minute, my grandparents stayed together and didn't have a damn thing to do with Instagram, but then she's saying, well, the reason why there are unhealthy beauty standards is because of Instagram. You can't have it both ways, sweetheart. It doesn't work that way.
But now that we've got all these different pockets and various different mediums that people can be looking at, the bubbles, there's actually a lot more beauty standards. So in one community, Kylie Jenner could be the beauty standard, but in another community, is her complete opposite that is the beauty standard.
In one community, there's the complete opposite that could be the beauty standard. So you mean to tell me that morbidly obese women who are unhealthy, have high blood pressure, and don't take care of themselves, there are people that find that attractive?
I'll never forget this. When I was working on my book, The Game of Desire, one of the people that I was working with was a pansexual woman, and I got her a haircut by like my favorite curly hair stylist because she had curly hair. And
Shan's got beautiful hair. I will give her that. Shan, dude, listen, man, I may disagree. She's fucking gorgeous, dude. Like, I'm not going to cap on that.
The stylist gave her this beautiful cascading, like curly, like off to the side, sexual cut, and it looked phenomenal. And she looked in the mirror and said, I hate it. I don't feel pretty. I don't think that this is going to get me what I want.
So I had a friend who wanted a certain kind of haircut. You can't use personal anecdotes. You can't use a personal anecdote, a micro argument, to refute a macro argument. There's all these, there is only one beauty, yes, there's only one beauty standard. Yes, within that beauty standard, there are different degrees, but we as men, we know what we're attracted to. Just because a man is dating someone who is hideous doesn't mean he wants to be. Just because there are men who are chubby chasers doesn't mean he wants to be a chubby chaser. Are there men out there who have these sexual kinks? Absolutely. But like you, Ms. Bodie, that is the statistical anomaly. Most men prefer women who are shorter than we are, in decent shape, with an average face. That's the beauty standard. The beauty standard is do not be morbidly obese. That's it.
And then she proceeded to ask for a mullet. Within her vegan community, that's what was attractive. That's what the trends were. Now, 50 years ago, she wouldn't have an option to see people who looked like that uplifted and amplified as beautiful.
You mean like Instagram?
And she would have chosen the mainstream lane of what attractiveness is.
It's funny. She is she is trying to make mainstream sound like it's not biology, right? Women, listen, man. There are people on the fringes. There are girls who are tomboys. There are just some girls who are not comfortable in a dress. I knew a couple of girls when I was a kid. They were tomboys. They played baseball and football just like the rest of us. But a funny thing happened when they started to like boys. They wanted to act like girls. Now, there are some girls who are going to be just kind of a little bit more masculine. It is what it is. There are some guys who are just a little bit more feminine. It is what it is. But we're talking about the fringe here, right? The mainstream, the societal standard, this is Mother Nature. This is not imposed on us by the media. Art reflects life. Okay? The media didn't just make up the beauty standard. They saw what people respond to and said, okay, let's put this on TV.
So I actually disagree with this. I do think, yes, that there is pressure to get attention, but I do think now there's so many different ways that we can define beauty depending on where it is that you look.
See, again, man, and again, this is nothing against her, but this is one of the main reasons why she has such a big channel is she doesn't speak in absolutions. She doesn't make any statements. There's no right or wrong. There's no black or white. Don't get me wrong, man. not everything is black and white. I will readily admit that. But by the same token, we as humans, we need to understand that there are certain absolutions in this world. Not everything can just be explained away. You can't just, if you, and again, she doesn't make any absolutions. Well, if that's what you want to do, I want to know what Shan agrees or disagrees with. I know she disagrees with Candace because she just doesn't like her because she pulled her card, but what are some other things that she talks about? Because anytime anybody, it appears that anytime she speaks on something, she's always hedging. Well, probably your grandparents stayed together because of Instagram, because there was no Instagram. It's like, make a statement and stick by it.
There actually was an incentive behind you even being taught that. You've never actually lived the life of making a husband a sandwich, and they think that's going to send you back and suddenly you're going to lose your voting rights and you're not going to be able to go get work. You know, there was a time when there was a need for feminism, first wave feminism, right? But
after this rant, I'm going to end it here, and then we'll go to the phone lines.
First wave feminists would want nothing to do with third wave feminists, which is where we're at today, right? Women that think that actually first wave feminists, you could argue, envied men, right? They wanted to be able to go to work. They wanted to have that option to be something outside of the home, right?
There's a lot that was said there, and a lot that was said is not within my wheelhouse of expertise. And I would hope that a lot of you who are very intelligent when it comes to race relations and it comes to gender studies would be able to spark up and inform where the problem areas are.
Okay, Candace didn't say anything about race relations. She didn't say anything about race relations. I have no idea why Shan brought this up
in this commentary.
So she says, listen, I'm not going to touch this. This is out of my wheelhouse. But
what I will say is I do agree that there is a throwing the baby out with the bathwater approach when it comes to...
Are you serious?
Illustrating for women how they can successfully and happily exist within a relationship. It is very true that a lot of people will find joy in the traditional value system.
When she says traditional value system, what she is trying to make you think is that it's like the 1950s. When Shan Bodhi says the traditional value system, what she is really talking about is monogamy. Listen, again, there are many different kinds of monogamous relationships. Monogamous relationships all look very different. Whether it's man, man, woman, woman, man, woman, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Monogamy is the point that I'm trying to make here. So again, let's not allow her to muddy the waters by mentioning all of these other factors. No, what she's really talking about is being a monogamous versus non-monogamous.
That a lot of people will find more joy being a stay-at-home mom. They will find more joy being a support system to their husband rather than trying to create an empire for themselves. That is not untrue.
That is not untrue. Again, she cannot say that's true. Nope, that is not untrue. Maybe I should start speaking in non-absolutions. Maybe I'll have 600,000 subscribers. Jesus.
Personally, I'm not a part of this bucket. I would never find joy in that style of lifestyle.
Of course you wouldn't.
I would never find fulfillment in that. But I do acknowledge that many people would. So I think that if there is, a stay-at-home mom.
Life Marketing nailed it right on the head. Says Shan is a moral relativist. She doesn't believe in absolute right or wrong. I think that's what it is. And people who don't believe in absolute right or wrong, you can't really have a conversation with them because there are no absolutions. There are no absolutions. Every time you make a statement, well, who decides on what X, Y, and Z is? Can't have conversations with those people.
And a traditional person in your life, we should look at that person with as much awe and admiration as we do look at the person who builds it all and does it all and creates an empire for themselves, because both of those individuals have been honest with themselves, they've reflected on what their truth is, and they've aligned themselves with
their truth. There it is. Told you she'd say it. Jim D says, how is sleeping around building an empire? That's a good question, Jim.
The best life for them. So I agree with that. We do need to do more work in uplifting women who have traditional values and looking at them as goals, because they are goals for many.
Okay, Candace Owens uplifts traditional values, but you're not uplifting her. Do you see how she talks out of, and again, I'm not being disrespectful, but Shan is talking out of both sides of her mouth here, right? We do need to uplift women who endorse traditional values. Well, Candace Owens endorses traditional values, but the fact that she makes statements about your she makes statements about your lifestyle and speaks in absolutions, that's the problem. So we should celebrate women who endorse the traditional lifestyle, except for those who have strong opinions about your lifestyle, right?
People.
And it also goes against biology.
Yeah.
You know, it goes against biology. There's a reason, biological underpinning to everything that we have in the
See that?
society. People keep trying to outthink biology. It doesn't work that way, right?
That's
There's
right.
a reason, you know, women can carry children and men can't. So that instantly allows man to have different goals in terms of the workforce than women, because that means we have to make a decision. Do we have children or continue working in our career or try to juggle both? Men don't have that same pressure, and it's not their fault. They didn't design this. You know, men weren't like, well, I have an idea. Let's not be able to carry children. Only let women be able to do that. And so there's the biological reality of that. And increasingly you see women that go for it in terms of their career because they have the societal pressure. And then it's too late. And then they realize, wow, this job is not making me happy. But my gosh, can I just tell you as a new mom what you feel like when your son smiles at you?
Now, I don't know how old Candace Owens is.
She's 30.
Maybe I should have looked that up.
Oh, 32.
How old she was when she first had her kid. I know she had her kid recently, but I'll speak for myself. I am 36 years old, and I have a 5-month-old baby right now, and
She looks damn good for 36. I will give her that.
I completely relate to what she said. There is nothing that makes me happier than having time with my daughter, getting to look in her eyes, seeing the small changes in development that she's having. I find tons of joy. I am so grateful for the pandemic, which I know is a very controversial thing to say, but I am very grateful because it has allowed me to work from home in a way that I would have never have gotten to prior to the pandemic. About 80% of my job was traveling. I have traveled once in the past year for work, and that is only because of the current times that we're in. So I attest to being at home with your baby is a wonderful thing. It is a privileged thing, but it is a wonderful thing. But I can also attest to the fact that I only feel this way because I waited as long as I did. It feels like Candace Owens is ignoring that reality for herself, that she did have a baby later in life than than her grandparents probably did.
She literally just says, the only reason why I feel fulfilled is because I slept around in my 20s and decided to have a baby late.
And that she is a career woman who has achieved a hell of a lot of success and obviously enjoys it. She talked about on another video I saw of her how happy she is to be able to go back to work. She has gone back to work within a year of her child being born. So clearly, you find a lot of fulfillment and joy in pursuing your potential. So then, again, if you went back to the beginning of the video and you said we have to provide both options, that's where the truth is. But like, you're saying one thing and your life is a complete contradiction to all of the rest of it.
And this is where Shan Bodhi has it completely fucking wrong. Completely wrong. You see, what Shan, once again, fails to realize, and I will say it again, she is the statistical anomaly. I'll use myself, I'll use Rollo Tomassi as an example. Rollo Tomassi, he is the godfather of the manosphere. And again, I got Dan in Alaska. I had Mel just drop off. Dan in Alaska, Efo from Atlanta, Apollo in pitch. Oh yeah, Apollo, Joey in Tampa. Sit tight, guys. I'm almost done. Sit tight. I'm almost done. Rollo Tomassi, the godfather of the manosphere, author of the revolutionary book series, The Rational Male. If you ask him right now, Rollo, should I get married? He says, hell no. But Rollo, you're married. How can you endorse men not get married? The answer is you ain't Rollo Tomassi and you ain't Mrs. Tomassi. Rollo Tomassi is the statistical anomaly. At least he is for now. Rollo would let you know that Mrs. Tomassi could go feral and up and leave him for any reason or no reason at all. She's a woman. That's what she is. And I met Miss Tomassi. She's very nice. Very nice. Dude, her and Dev yakking away at each other. If someone were to come to me, Donovan, so there's this girl I've been dating for a year and a half. She wants me to move in. Should I move in? No. Well, Donovan, you live with your girlfriend. You ain't me and your girlfriend ain't Devin. That isn't to say that I'm better than you or that Devin's better than your girl or that Rollo and his wife are better than any other couple. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is to get to where I am, it takes a lot more than a year and a half, okay? It took a lot more. Dude, not only did I have to train Dev for a year and a half, I had to go through 8.5 years of red pill training to get to the point to where I was ready to train her. And even then, that was difficult. So the average man who just find this community, 2-3 years in, Donovan, got this girl, she wants, I want to move. No, do not move in. Do not move in. Dude, I'm 43 years old, homie, okay? Do not come at me as a 34-year-old and say, well, Donovan, you live with your girlfriend, so I think I can live with mine. No, and I'm not trying to say you're not me. No. You haven't done this for as long as I have, okay? Now, when you get to a point to where you can, how can I put this? When you get to a point to where you can compartmentalize a woman's beauty from a woman's quality, and you have enough requisite experience with women to be able to train them, at that point, knock yourself out, right? If Sterling Cooper were to come to me and say, hey, Donovan, I've been dating this girl, I'm thinking about letting her move in. You know what I would say? Hey, Sterling, if you think you can handle it, absolutely. Because I know Sterling Cooper is that G. He's that dude. Aaron Clary lives with his girlfriend. Guess what? Good for him. Good for him. The point is, guys, is that I understand that I am the statistical exception. This doesn't make me special. It doesn't make me better than you. But what it does mean is that I admit that even though I am the statistical exception, I understand that I'm still very lucky to be where I'm at. This thing could go sideways at any time. Now, there are certain things that I've put in place to make sure that if things do go sideways, I don't lose my shirt. It is what it is, right? But for Shan to sit here and say, well, your lifestyle is a contradiction because you're telling women to be stay-at-home moms and not sleep around. Well, wait a minute. Who said Candace Owens slept around? Who says that you can have a career without sleeping around, right? And this brings us all back full circle. Ms. Bodie is not admitting that she is the statistical anomaly. She's not, maybe she doesn't understand this, but the vast majority of women who follow her line of thinking are not going to end up like her. They're just not. Any man who pursues a relationship with a woman is not going to end up with a relationship like mine. They're just not. Now, yes, do I have this relationship because I'm me? Absolutely. But guess what? There was a little bit of luck involved. I'm built a certain way. Devin's built a certain way. It was kind of the perfect storm. We were in the right place at the right time. I was the right guy, at least for now. Shan Bodie is very lucky to be where she is. All of the sex and everything in between, she has to understand that she is not the norm. She is not the norm. She is not the average. She is the exception to the rule. All right, let us go to the phone lines. I'll be doing a Temptation Island breakdown following the show. I'm going to go to the phone lines, and then I'm going to look at some of your comments here. All right, let's go to Efo in Atlanta. Efo, you said it's Shan Booty?
Yes.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thanks for the correction. Let's go to Dan in Alaska. Dan in Alaska, you're on Live at Donovan.
All right, so I got 3 points, and I'm just going to run them down really quick to save you time, then you can elaborate once I hang up.
Okay,
if you allow.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, man.
Okay, so my 3 points are first, the moral thing she was mentioning. We do have objective morals. It's called, we all agree that what's good for the species is good, what's bad is bad. Monogamy is good, and non-monogamy leads to extinction.
Right.
And the second point is that she was mentioning how the marriage model doesn't work. Like you said, it's because of Instagram and all that, but it's also because it used to be societally enforced.
Right.
No, it's not. Like back then, your husband would leave with everything and leave you just. So that's why and we'd have to get to that point, or we have to do as you say and have the leverage.
Okay.
And how we have it nowadays is, like you said, get to a point where he can't ruin you and he's leaving a good deal behind so that he doesn't want to leave.
Right. Right. No, I agree.
Like
I agree.
If you ever Jeff Bezos, he's not going to do it.
Right. Right. That's exactly right.
Or at least you won't care.
And your third point?
Anyway, that's all.
Oh, okay. Well, Dan in Alaska, I appreciate that. Yeah, he's right. He's right. Humans fundamentally, and again, and I'm going to go to Apollo, then Joey in Tampa. This is the comparison that I always make. This is a comparison I always make, man. How can I put this? This is why we know it is not a good thing or this is why we know that there are consequences. Or I'll put it this is how we know women are not biologically programmed to sleep around. Women who sleep around are going against their biology. A lion in the pride, right? One alpha lion impregnates like 17 lionesses. Well, guess what? One lioness doesn't get impregnated by 17 different lions. No, they all take genetic material from one lion. One lion propagates the herd, right? A bunch of lions don't run a train on one lioness. This is how it works with everybody. There is one stud horse. There are many mares. That's how this works. This is biological. And when you break that biology, you end up with the state that we're in. Let us go to Apollo. Apollo, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
All right, good. Donovan, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing real good.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to say along the lines of what Candace is trying to say about living this, non-monogamous lifestyle. As you know, I'm out here dating girls casually left, right, and center.
Right.
And I can tell you without a doubt, pretty much almost all of them, this is not what they want to do. They're doing it for a short term. They got out of something or in between something. So they're cool with hooking up, hanging out for a while. But they tell me, they like a relationship, but this is an essential do for now. And then even whenever we first start talking about casual, they're hesitant to say they want casual because they've been shamed by other men for wanting casual.
There you go. And it's not even that, Apollo. It's not only is it they've been shamed by other men for wanting casual relationship, women don't need to be shamed by other men to understand that by saying, I want a casual relationship, that makes them look bad. It makes them look like a 304. It devalues them. They inherently understand this.
Right, absolutely. And then the last thing I just wanted to say real quick is when you were saying about, yourself, you and Devin, that, hey, it's going great, kick a blow for any minute. We just did a story today at work about a woman that had a chimpanzee part of her life for 17 years, ate at the table, helped her around the farm, everything. And just like that, it snapped and almost killed her daughter.
Oh, my God.
So things can turn in an instant. So things can turn in an instant, relationships, all that stuff.
That's right. Thanks for the call, Apollo. Yeah, listen. Chimpanzees are fun to have, but chimpanzees are very strong. They'll rip your face off and all this other kind of stuff. 17 years. It snapped just like that. That's just again, Siegfried and Roy. I forgot who it was that got attacked. I know that's bad. I think it might have been Siegfried. Either way, the tiger attacked him. Had been a great tiger the entire time. Its true nature kicked in and boom, there it was. Women are feral by nature. This doesn't make them bad. It just makes them women. And the reason why women are the way they are is because it's biologically necessary. Women are biologically hardwired to be repulsed by weakness. This is why they're always looking for the strongest man. Are there some immoral things they do to achieve this? Absolutely. This is how it is, guys. So the burden is on you to be the strongest option available. That's how it is. All right, let's go to Joey in Tampa. You're on Live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, Donovan. How's it going?
Doing good, man. How about you?
I'm great.
Good.
So what annoyed me is, there's a whole bunch to tackle about this video, but when Candace talked about Instagram and how her grandparents are still together today because that wasn't around and girls weren't shaking their ass, stuff like that.
Right.
It annoys me to no end when women use exactly what somebody said in the most literal sense and say, no, your argument falls flat. Your argument falls flat completely because I can tell you personally that my grandparents, and on top of that, it wasn't Instagram specifically. Maybe they got divorced because of a different convention, a different social media thing. They always try to make it seem that because what you said exactly isn't the case, then it's about a general concept.
Right.
Would you either agree that women today and marriages and things are falling flat because social media has damaged women and giving them conventions yes or no. Oh, yes. Okay, well, then what you say
Right.
is true. It's
There
not
you go.
about the specifics of what you said.
Right. Yeah, that annoys me.
They always have a need to be right, so they will take it literally in any way they can to make them win.
Yeah, no, totally. Women also do this when you not when you accuse them, but if you ask them, like if you suspect your girlfriend of cheating and you say, well, you did X, Y, Z, then A, B, and C. Well, she might have done that, but because you didn't present it literally 100% correctly, she can be like, that's not true.
Right? Yeah. They failed. It was like on Myron's on Fresh and Fit when Kevin called in with the OnlyFans girls.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw that one. Yeah.
Oh, no, I saw it.
When the roommates were saying buying bags and doing all this stuff, and then she goes, "Who says I'm buying bags?" It's like you're missing the point of what I'm talking about.
Right. You're not. Okay,
They'll just find.
You might not be buying bags, but the point is that you're blowing your money. That's the point. Okay, so you're not buying bags, but you're buying other useless shit. You're not saving your money. Yeah, I hate it when women do that, dude.
They're basically looking for you to say, "Oh shit, my bad. You're not buying bags. Okay, I'll stop talking then."
Yes, right. You got one part of the argument wrong, so that just defeats your. Yeah, that was very disingenuous of Shan to say, "Listen, my grandparents stayed together, but I can assure you, it was not because of Instagram. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't because Instagram wasn't around, but." Again, just like you said, the greater point is that Instagram is the reason why our grandparents stayed together.
Exactly. The greater point really is that today's modern times has too much technology and allows women to do things that are destructive. That's really the end goal. So she didn't say it that way. She was just more specific, but you don't take it that way.
Right. That's exactly right. Your last point, Joey.
No, that was it. That's pretty much all that I can think of.
Excellent. I appreciate you calling. Thank you for calling. Thank you very much for calling, Joey, in Tampa. Good calls today. Very, very good calls today. I'm glad that I've been able to open up the phone lines. Let me scroll through these last super chats. At the bottom of the hour at 8:30 Eastern, I will be breaking down another episode.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Of Temptation Island. Another Temptation Island breakdown. These are a lot better than The Bachelorette. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know that I'm going to continue breaking down The Bachelorette, man. I'll give it a shot next Monday, but if any more ridiculous shenanigans go on with the drama with the guys and all of this, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, Brian Burton with a $10 super chat says, just from her making this video goes to show you that Shan is afraid of men who think in absolution. She's intelligent and all, but doesn't have what it takes to handle a logical debate. I agree. Shan is extremely, extremely intelligent, and she's very well spoken in her line of work. But a lot of her arguments, a lot of her counter arguments were just anecdotes, right? Well, I understand the macro argument is this, but I don't know anybody who is miserable. That's a bad argument. And again, she answers questions with questions a lot. That's a surefire sign that you don't have an argument. Chris Rice, $5, says, funny how career women with money always seem to fall back on technology to make bad decisions and maybe still have kids, but the average woman can't. Right? That's exactly right. Technomage B5 with the $5 super chat says, if you're going to live with a woman, you better have an exit plan these days. Just ask CGA how many months he spent in his car after divorce. Wow. I got to ask him about that. Damn. Oh, Tricky Trini says the tiger didn't attack. The tiger went tiger. Yeah, Chris Rock. That is exactly right. Ice Dragon Kiss says, I call it the literal loophole. That's exactly what, I already forgot the guy's name. That's what Joey in Tampa was talking about. Women, specifically women, they will take what you say so literally to defeat your argument. And the example that he gave on Fresh and Fit, I'm not buying Birkin bags. Listen, man, maybe you're not buying Birkin bags, but the point is that you're blowing your money. That's the greater overall point. That is the greater overall point. that is going to do it. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second. All right. I'm still here. Everybody sit tight. I need to add my, I got to add my camera. Hang on a second. There we go. I guess I should have been a little bit more thorough with show prep. Before I do that, Harold Legurm, with the $5 super chat says, we allowed this mess. Ultimately, then we financed, keep spreading the word. Yeah. Listen, man, and again, I want to end this with this, man. I have nothing against Shan Bodhi. I really don't. She believes in what she talks about. The lifestyle she leads has been very fulfilling to her. I'm sure she has a lot of wonderful stories to tell. But what she needs to understand, or maybe she does, but what she needs to understand is that she is the statistical anomaly. She really is the exception, at least for now. We have no idea what kind of mental or even physical scar she has from living this lifestyle, right? This is just kind of how it is. And again, I'm not trying to throw shade on her. I mean, I'm sure if I met her in public, she'd be a very lovely woman, right? We just disagree on the fundamentals when it comes down to relationships. And what that really means is I endorse monogamy. She endorses non-monogamy. That's the fundamental difference between her and myself. That's what this comes down to. And again, all of this double talk and all of this, fantasy speak and all this other, muddying the waters. No. We love differently and we experience love. No. All of that means is that she endorses non-monogamy. That's all it means, right? I'm not trying to and what she's doing is she's overcomplicating it, right? Sleeping around is sleeping around. That's it. Women can never call it sleeping around because they know kind of makes them look bad. So they have to package it as this cosmic self-fulfilling self-journey. This is a journey to find. No. You like having sex with a lot of people. Guess what? I'm not mad at that. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But women who endorse this line of living, they need to start acknowledging the consequences on the back end. Maybe Shan Bodhi isn't suffering those consequences yet, but something tells me that when she does, she's probably not going to let us know that she is. Coding Jesus says, did you see the series of staged Fresh and Fit videos where they attempt the Lamborghini prank, even when faking an interaction? Fresh and Fit CEO has zero game. It's funny, man. He actually called and told me about that. That was really funny. All right, so now that I have everything, there we go. That is going to do it for this edition of TSR Live. Thank you guys very, very much for joining in. Guys, be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, and share. I will be doing the Temptation Island breakdown at the bottom of the hour. Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow. Get thousands of hours of content not found anywhere on patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. Link in description.